everybody. So it's been a while since I've done a paper on or a video on a research paper, and this particular research paper happened to catch my eye. It's called the Platonic Representation Hypothesis. And then, so up front, I want to say that everything in this video is going to be philosophy related and in the philosophy department and not the science department. So it's going to be hypothetical. And then the second thing that I want to mention within this is that I'll do my goal is to do these philosophy topics justice, but I do have friends that are like they have advanced degrees in philosophy, and then I don't know if I'm going to make any of them mad with any of my representations or anything like that. So I don't want to. I don't have an advanced degree in philosophy. I like philosophy, and I've studied it a lot throughout my life, but I just want to put those caveats throughout and up front. And then so with that, let's dive into this paper. And then so the first thing to understand within this paper and like the argument that this paper is making is to go back 2,000 years to Plato, because as we can see from the paper, it's the Platonic representation hypothesis, right? And then so Plato had many concepts in philosophy, but one of the concepts that he went over was this concept of Platonic forms. And Platonic forms to me are simplistic, right? So let's say I have a cup. And then so what is, or that's a chair is a really good example, right? So what is the Platonic form of a chair? And then so the Platonic form of a chair is that it has four legs. It generally like looks like a chair. Like the Platonic form of a chair would look like a chair to me, right? And so this is kind of important to think through. It has a seat and a back. So like when you think of a chair, you would think of the Platonic form of a chair. And then so what a Platonic form of a chair is like the ideal form of a chair, right? Like if there was a perfect chair that existed, then that would be the Platonic form. The Platonic form would envelop everything that it means to be a chair overall, right? And then so from here, I want to first fast forward. Let's fast forward to like the 1950s. And then so in the postmodern era, like postmodernism, and that whole movement is a big, it's like the first big like backlash or antithesis, like looking at this particular equation from like a mainstream level of the opposite end, right? And then so with a lot of postmodernism, it was flipping that concept on its head. And then so like taking the example of a chair, right? And then so if you think of the Platonic form of a chair, what makes it a chair? It four legs, seat, comfortable, has a seat in the back, looks like a chair. Okay. And then so in the postmodern movement, it would be what are all of the elements that I can make that would essentially be the opposite of that, like make it naturally not a chair, but it would still function as a chair. Its still functional purpose could still be a chair, but it wouldn't envelop and encompass chairness, right? And then so that's why you see like a lot of like postmodern, like kind of weird elements, especially like when it comes to like chairs and furniture and things like that. It's the intention, right, is to directly go against like the Platonic forms of something like the perfect form of whatever the object is. And then so Plato represented this with regards towards objects, like the perfect object, the perfect chair, the perfect cup. What this particular paper is diving into with their hypothesis, and they make it very clear here up front, right? The Platonic representation hypothesis. Neural networks trained with different objectives on different data and modalities are converging to a shared statistical model of reality in their representation spaces. So what this means very specifically is that models across the board, the more intelligent that they're getting, the more powerful that they're getting, the more they're converging, agreeing on certain facts. And so essentially that is the whole point of the Platonic representation hypothesis is that convergence of facts, right? And then so if you think of the Platonic forms of something, and then think that of that Platonic form existing throughout the universe, then we arrive at essentially this Platonic representation hypothesis. And then so what if this hypothesis holds and is true, kind of like what it means is that if you scale up these models to be smart enough, and then you give them enough data, it doesn't matter how much bias is in the data, how wrong the data is. If you allow them enough of it to sift through, they're going to find the facts in the data, right? Like Elon Musk was big on this, maybe like a year ago. He was like Truth GPT is what he wanted, right? I think that he abandoned it because he realized that we aren't there yet as far as the ability to scale fully to like this like Truth GPT. But like I think that there's reasoning why he jumped on that, right? And why like he jumped on that train, and then now you're seeing this paper. And then so I think that philosophically overall that there's a strong possibility, and that's what these are leaning towards, that there's at least a potential for finding out like facts about the universe through scaling intelligence. And then so that's kind of like the big research goal within a lot of this and within some of this, right, is scaling towards that, right? The more intelligent these models get, the more factual information that we get access to. And at the end of the day, that's a huge goal for the research community. And like, so I think these papers and the Platonic representation hypothesis are interesting. I think that this is an interesting philosophical subject overall. It's a subject that's been debated and talked about for 2,000 years. Here we are, 2,000 plus years post-Plato, still talking about Plato's representations and Plato's Platonic forms now as they relate to AI, and now talking about Platonic forms in the AI space, which opens up a whole different universe of philosophy, right? It's just really interesting overall. So hopefully I've done this topic some sort of justice as an introductory topic. I'll definitely come back to the philosophy of this topic in general and the philosophy of AI more, and I'll try to come back to more videos on this particular topic in general and subject in general around philosophy and AI in my videos more. So, but anyway, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.